Hello, and welcome back to Miss McGee's Critical Thinking and Analysis, Unit 10 here at Fremont College. Good to see you again. Now, Unit 10, again, I love this unit. I've taught this class before, and Unit 10 to me is the most interesting and intriguing, and there's so many aspects of this. This is where we talk about faulty arguments. Now, we talked about the importance of crafting an argument, but in order to win an argument, we have to see where the fault in the argument lies. And the way that we've broken it down, I haven't broken it down, but the way that, attorneys and people who study this, full time and have crafted these ideas, they've broken down faulty or fallacious or fallacies in arguments. So that when you read something in the newspaper or you're arguing with somebody, you'll be able to right away identify the fallacy in their argument. The first fallacy is manipulation through language. Now, we all have heard people who try to use big words to try to confuse us and throw us off our game. Okay, that's manipulation through language. They use word ambiguity, and as I said earlier, ambiguity means a lack of clarity, something that's kind of fuzzy, something that's kind of mixed up. Ambiguity occurs in an argument when a key word with several different meanings is left undefined. As a result, the reader or the speaker must assume what meaning was intended, or the listener, I should say. Weasel words appear to say one thing. In fact, they say nothing at all. Like the word light. What does that really mean, light? Light beer. What does that really mean? Okay, how can you have light beer? It's almost a contradiction in terms. But it's a way that people are able to convince us and persuade us just by using those kinds of words. Misusing euphemisms. Okay, that's when we use words, again, we're talking about manipulation through language. We use words that sound good, but that really aren't good. Like we say things like laid off when we really mean fired. We say outsourced, right? That sounds really fancy, but we really mean, somebody's lost their job because it's gone elsewhere, maybe out of the country. So euphemisms are used. I know the military has a whole list of euphemisms that sound good, but really mean something sometimes quite dark. But again, it's a way to persuade, it's a way to win an argument, it's a way to convince people. Prejudicial language is an attempt to persuade through the choice of slanted or loaded words that convey a bias. The implication is such a tactic that the words chosen only describe what is real and true. It's kind of like name calling in a way, but it's loaded. Like just as an example, in politics, if it used to be if you called somebody a liberal, that was like, oh my gosh, that was like the last thing you wanted to be, a liberal. That had a connotation of being soft, being unpatriotic, a number of different connotations it used to have. Now, I think we're getting out of that a little bit, but still, the word liberal has kind of a tang and an edge to it that many people really don't like. Manipulation through emotion. That's another way that people use argument and fallacious arguments to persuade or convince you. They may appeal to fear. So-and-so has weapons of mass destruction. We must go to war. Or they may appeal to pity. The children are starving. Something that we as human beings react to, with our hearts, maybe not with our heads. They appeal to a false authority. I've run 26 miles. I know everything there is to know about running a marathon. Something like that. They appeal to authority, and maybe this person that's speaking has only really run 5 miles. So in a way, it's kind of a lie, but there's a ring of truth to it, and that's how people manipulate an argument through using emotion. There's a bandwagon appeal, and then I know sports fans, they love kind of the bandwagon. Get on the bandwagon. That could be something like, you may not have liked a particular team at one point, but when they start to win, then you jump on their bandwagon. Something like that, a bandwagon appeal. You want to be one of the many. You want to be in with the crowd. Again, an appeal to prejudice. Now, what are those appeals to prejudice? It's just a straight out personal attack. When someone is using an argument, they attack you personally. They don't stick to the issue that you're arguing or the controversy. They attack you personally. Well, you're stupid, or you're poor, or you don't have the knowledge, or you haven't been educated. They attack you personally to win the argument. Another way to manipulate through emotion is by poisoning the well, and that's seeking to prejudice others against another person or group of people. So the argument could be won that way. They poison the well. They say, in order to get you on their side, they may say something like, all groups, they may choose a group and say all of these people are bad. And that's their way of poisoning the well so that you'll look badly on that group, a group that perhaps they have a bias against. Now, there's another kind of argument, fallacy, and that's a manipulation through distraction. They try to distract you from the main point. And one way is a red herring. Now, you've probably heard that term. They use that term a lot in detective stories and mystery stories. It's something there to throw you off of the real tracks, to throw you off of the real scent. It's a red herring. Instead of proving the claim, it diverts attention to other issues and points to the wrong direction. So you'll be thinking about the other issues instead of the main idea. Lawyers are notorious for that. Lawyers are notorious for, when they're defending a client, particularly defense attorneys, when they're defending a client, rather than want the jury to think about, well, he broke into this person's house and robbed them, he may say something like, well, the defendant was a good student and, well liked by everybody and the quarterback on his football team, so that you'll focus on those attributes and not the fact that he broke into somebody's house. That's a red herring. The straw man argument. A straw man argument misrepresents or caricatures an opponent's position, then refutes the false replica. Now, again, you'll find a lot of these kinds of arguments in politics. Politicians are notorious for these kinds of fallacious arguments to get people to their side. So when you're talking about a straw man, they'll build up an issue, right, so that they can divert or characterize, or caricature, I should say, your position. Let's just take, for example, the healthcare debate. President Obama's healthcare debate. I think it was former Governor Sarah Palin from Alaska. I believe she used a term, death panels. Now, death panels, again, it could be appeal to emotion, but it's also a straw man argument, first of all, because it makes people believe that somehow the government's going to be involved in announcing their death or creating their death in some way. But that's not really true. It's partially true. There's going to be certain criteria, but it's not death panels. But that use of language to create a strongman argument has really been very controversial in this whole debate of healthcare reform. Circular reasoning. That's when you go all around, just like it says circular. You go all around, reasoning all the way around, and then you really come up with, no argument. Okay, because you don't really have a strong argument, so you have to pick and go all the way around it because you don't have, again, lawyers are very good at this. They're very good, like in summation, of making a circular argument. Go all the way around the issue just to come back to the issue and really say nothing. Okay, and it takes a skill. It sounds very like it might be easy to do, like people are lying, but no, you have to really be skilled at these fallacious arguments because this is how you win. Now, I know right now it's been kind of light on this Unit 10, but I want you to read thoroughly, of course. And again, do your e-cafe. And the e-cafe for this unit is to come up with a fallacy. And other students in the discussion thread will try to figure out what your fallacy is. Come up with one of the fallacies I've mentioned, maybe word ambiguity or straw man argument or a red herring, and create a scenario, and the other students will have to try to guess what you mean. But after you finish that, please, I want you to really focus on the PAL assignment. Time's going by really fast. It's going to be here before you know it. I've been online. I've seen many of the things that you've done. I really like the way you guys have gotten in there and chosen the roles and chosen what you're going to do and meetings and so forth. And that's good. Now you got to take it to the next level and really start crafting your assignment. Be in touch all the time, write each other back and forth and make sure you're all on the same page. Because I can tell you with group assignments, we all want to make sure that everybody is contributing equally and nobody feels like, oh, I'm doing all the work. So make sure that you all, get together, talk. If you have a misunderstanding or maybe you might not be clear on something, just talk about it, post about it. Okay, so that's the learning in a group assignment. That's how you learn to be part of a team. So that is Unit 10, fallacies, what is a faulty argument, as well as I want you to work on your PAL as much as you can this week. And I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.